Welcome to the Shake Up Podcast. I'm your host and co-founder of Mr. Consistent, Jarrad Bell. This is a podcast where we invite friends of the brand into our studio. We get to know their story a little bit better. We chat all things business, culture and marketing, all while shaking up a few cocktails.
I like doing what I do because I enjoy it. I know people always ask me, do you want to retire one day? Do you want to sell the business? I'm like, no, you're always planning a trend and staying true to your brand and your identity. You won't go wrong.
Welcome to the Shake Up Podcast, girls. Thessy and Yiota, how are you?
Hey, we are good. How you going?
Excellent. Sunny day down here on the Gold Coast. Just finished a meeting. Things are good. What's going on up in Brisbane? Yeah, what's going up in Brisbane? You guys are based out of Brisbane?
Yes, we are. So
and you are.
We just have had a hectic start to the year with like heaps of new people starting, and this whole month of January has just been back-to-back meetings. So we wish we were in Burleigh with you in the chilled out life, but we're not.
How's you guys are co-founders of Sabo Skirt?
We are. That's us.
How's the whole COVID thing going on up there?
COVID, honestly, navigating a business through COVID is next level. It's like navigating your family through COVID, but times 50 employees. So like there's something new popping up every day, new rules to follow, learn, and it's not a good time for me.
How many people you got up there?
So at HQ we're pushing 20 now with our casuals. And in our store, like in both our stores, we've got 20 girls. So
the stores would be the hardest, hey, like new rules, new regs, people getting COVID, all that. Have you had to close any store, like had any closures or anything like that?
No, we had to shut both the stores temporarily for a few days because 100% of the staff at one store had COVID at the same time.
Wow.
And the Pack Fair girls, Pack Fair pumps, and we only had one girl without COVID, so it wasn't possible.
Oh man, that's rough. Hey, it ran rampant down. Like it obviously over that Christmas period, we had pretty much almost half of our staff out. It ran pretty rampant down here, so it hasn't been that fun. But I guess the reason we got you on here is Sabo Skirt is like iconic in the Australian fashion industry. Like you guys started, how long you guys been around for? It's got to be like 10-ish years.
Yeah,
11.
Yeah, 11 years ago. And I clearly remember, like my wife, she loves what you guys do, and I was telling her that we're having you guys on the podcast, and she's like, I remember back in the day when I first found Sabo Skirt, and like they had all these, like, I guess you guys set the path or set the trend of like affordable fashion, like she's like went onto your website and she could afford everything and everything was really cool and she could see herself wearing it versus, back in the day, those brands would be a little bit more expensive or almost a little bit more out of the general run of the mill person's like price bracket.
Yeah, and we still like really try to keep our prices as low as possible, just to keep like that original, customer happy and everyone here happy. And yeah, so far so good.
That's amazing. And I guess, how do you guys meet? Because you used to have the same last name, but like who married who here, or like how'd you guys meet? Like what came first? Was it the friendship? Was it the relationship with somebody's brother or sister or whatever it was? And then or Sabo Skirt?
So we met first, so we became besties. And then as besties do, she would come to my house all the time and she'd perv on my brother. And then I gave her a green light and I was like, go for it. We were like the tender age of like 15 and 16. I was like, yes, queen. And then she got with my brother, and luckily like that worked out because they're married now with 2 kids. And if it didn't work out, it just would have been like such a bummer because it was such a great arrangement having my best friend around my family 24/7. So happy days.
That's awesome. And then you guys went to uni together or anything like that? Like how did the business come about? Like you don't just, obviously best friends sit around and talk about doing things together and starting businesses and they always want to do something, but it takes a fair bit more planning and capital and all those kind of things. How did you guys actually start?
We actually became obsessed with Tumblr back in the day. It was hot.
Oh, so sick. It was so good.
And while we were studying or like working, we were working part-time while we're studying, we'd send like these emails of bulk inspo images of just fashion. And that then fed a new addiction, which was shopping. So we'd go every Friday afternoon religiously. We would go shopping. The two of us, it was like our ritual. We'd listen to Pussycat Dolls and Taylor Swift to and from. And then it got to a point where, how do you explain the point we got to where?
We got to like a point where our shopping was becoming embarrassing. Just like, that's all your shopping is, just to shop. So we were like, far out, we've got to like
do something,
put a purpose behind all of this shopping. So we like snowballed off our Tumblr addiction. We were like, hey, let's try and do like a blog for ourselves. And back then there were like 0 blogs. There was no Instagram back then.
There were lots of blogs, but no 2 girls, and not hardly any in Australia.
Yeah, there was hardly any Australian bloggers. So we were like, let's do the both of us in the blog. So that'll be like our point of difference. And then just feed our addiction through that blog.
Justify our addiction.
Can I step in there?
Because like that, and turned out pretty good, because people then started asking us, oh, where did you get that piece of clothing? And then like it was like a light bulb moment. We were like, we can give them the clothes we're wearing if we make them.
Yeah, because we're obviously shopping locally, so in Brisbane, and 90% of our followers on the blog were international, so they couldn't actually access the clothing back then. So online just seemed like the best idea ever, even though it was terrifying because
there was 0 online shops in Australia at that time.
Yeah, there was not much. Like I just want to step in because the Tumblr thing is like something that so many people and like the youth have no idea what you used to have to go through. Like Tumblr was Instagram, like our version of Instagram 10 years ago, where people actually had pages and they would write blog posts and they would take photos of themselves and upload them, like essentially what Instagram is in a Tumblr format. And then you had like people who were amazing at curating content and would just reshare awesome content. And there is still Tumblrs around there. Like if you love Instagram, it's because of Tumblr. Like it's literally it set the way.
Yeah, exactly. We loved it. So that's how Sabo came to be. That we saved up our money as much as we could. We gave ourselves a year to plan and save and do all the not so exciting stuff. And then we just did it in 2011 in March. We just launched our website, and it was pretty slow to start with, but we kept pushing, and it took off. Like 6 months later, we got a big break with this one dress in particular, and then just grew from there.
That's amazing. And then was it just you guys, like, did you build the website yourselves, or do you have somebody like the money you saved you spent on a web developer? Because like I've built a million websites. Like it's not easy to build one, and one that functions really well like you guys. And then how did you execute the online shopping experience?
We designed the website ourselves in Paint.
Yeah, in Paint.
Yeah, kidding. How good.
Yeah, that's what we designed the front end on, and we had no idea about the back end functions and that kind of thing. So we left all of that to a web developer that we found, and he did exactly what we wanted for our front end. The back end, we just went with whatever he did. And then obviously as a business grew, we became experts at front and back end, and as the website grew, we then custom built our websites so that it suited our business and our processes, and that actually got really fun and addictive. And now we've got like a super streamlined front and back end.
Yeah, and then you guys have like obviously the online part where you guys packing the orders and shipping them out, and it got like, how do you guys do that now? Like how is the process of that from, I guess, you guys actually packing the orders and sending them out to where you guys are at now?
Yep. So one of the first people we hired was actually Thess's mum and my sister, and they were brought in to help pack orders because Thess and I couldn't do it by ourselves anymore. And I guess that foundation of just the 4 of us picking and packing orders has grown organically to have a whole team now. And
I think we picked and packed orders for a good 5 years.
No, it was
4 years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It felt like 10 years.
Yeah.
Apparently not. But we were picking and packing. I think there were the first 3 years we packed and picked every single day.
We did a bit of everything.
Even like Christmas Day, I remember we were like packing orders because
we didn't go out. We stopped going out for a few years.
We just put everything we had into it. So there are a lot of sacrifices as a young 20-year-old, like we were 21. And instead of spending our money on like booze, and which you could have helped us there, but yeah, we were putting it all back into the business and working 24/7.
Because you can see the upgrades. Like all businesses have growth, and you get to a point where you're like, oh, I can either take I can take a bit of money out and I can splurge on a car, or you can
Yeah, we did not do that.
yeah, like, or you can reinvest it and build a better website that's faster, more got more features, and spend more money on marketing, or spend more money on giving product away to influencers and all those kind of things. At what point did you go, oh fuck, we need to start like paying ourselves, or like at least putting food on the table for our families? Like you guys have got you both got kids now?
Yeah, we do.
So like at what point do you go, you know what, we want to start putting food on the table and roofs over our families? Like how long did it take till you could, I guess, pull a wage from the business that you felt comfortable?
We didn't pull a wage the first 3 years.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
paid everyone else all of the expenses. That was like, and we decided from the get-go we would just like we wouldn't take anything out for ourselves. We were just constantly keeping it in the business to grow. And then we shared a wage. So we shared a full-time wage for how long?
I forgot this.
For like 2 years, maybe
Oh
1 or
my
2
God.
years we shared it. And then at that point, we got our own wage. And
were you splitting meals and stuff as well? Like
probably we shared everything. But yeah, I guess it kept us humble and grounded. And it wasn't until like late 20s when we started to like think about our own houses or that kind of thing.
I think once you have a surplus, when you get a surplus in your finances, in your business, that you then think about investing. And then I think when you're at a point of you're in a surplus of your investment funds, then you can start thinking about buying things for yourself. I think doing it any other way is just not safe in terms of if something went wrong, you don't have anything to fall back on. So we're very conservative in that. We always have a surplus in our business.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You always want to have that like little safety blanket, because you never know when costs will pop up, or you have opportunity to do, who knows, like a pop-up somewhere, or a festival, or like be a part of something that you want to have that in there, so you can do those things when the opportunity comes.
I think it would be silly to be driving around in the Lamborghini and not be able to pay a bill. So
people do it though.
I know that.
How do you guys market now? Like obviously it's changed from, building a Tumblr and all those kind of things. What do you guys focus on now? Like you guys, because you guys build collections yourselves and then put collections out. And then I guess how do you focus in on marketing because it's obviously a very saturated market in clothing at the moment. There's so many brands, there's so many companies, there's so many big online places with huge marketing budgets. And you guys are just doing it all out of an office in Brisbane by yourselves and with your own money.
I think at the moment we're at a point where we're lucky enough to have a hub that people check in weekly, no matter if they've seen an ad or not. So everyone just knows every Monday, every week, every Thursday, we get new arrivals. So a lot of our customers just know that, and a lot of our customers are repeat customers. So obviously we do a lot of Facebook ads and Google ads and things like that, but I think the beauty of our business is that a lot of it is organic from our original customers. So they just come back every single week.
And also you can't get our clothes anywhere else. They're all designed by us. So it's literally unique products. So in that sense, we don't actually compete with anyone. It's our own design. So that's also a plus for us.
Another massive marketing strategy we have, and it's very unique because not a lot of businesses are like this, is that we market on ourselves. So if we want to push something, we can just chuck it on ourselves and it will push the sales.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have gone through all of the influencer marketing, and that I feel that culture is starting to, because of the Instagram algorithms, they're not favoring they're not really showing everyone to anyone.
Yeah, you got to pay to be seen now.
Yeah, so we've just, I don't know, we've
Pulled
just
back from that. We've trying new things.
Yeah, it's true.
That's cool. I guess like experimenting and trying new things is always, you want to be ahead of what everybody else is doing, because every other company that's kind of popping up is, they come in, they go, you know what, influencer marketing is the way it's been done for the last 3 to 4 years. It works, but it's when you can see things slow down in your business, and you can go, you know what, let's make an adjustment. So like, that's amazing advice, and like pushing it on you guys. Like, people love the day to day, like seeing in and around behind the scenes of a business as well. Like, do you guys show a fair bit of that on both your personal Instagrams, right?
A little bit. I've heard from my followers that they want to see a lot more. Like, we don't give away a lot of our personal lives and the inner workings of our business. So we could do that a little bit more, but yeah, maybe something we can. We're really focusing this year on original content creation. So we're really pushing all of the reels and the videos and just everything in house, instead of marketing with influencers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, organic marketing is definitely the way to go now. I think more of the like artificial type partnerships aren't as
impactful.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there, isn't there? The market seems full to the brim.
It is.
And people are on a come up. Like, you talk about, I guess, influencers, like they come up. They can come up in a month. They can go from 5,000 followers, and like TikTok especially is one that you can post one TikTok and you can go viral, and you go from 5,000 followers to 50,000 followers very quickly.
Yeah.
Every day, new influencer.
Yeah, that would be a full-time job, trying to stay on top of who's converting, because just because someone has followers doesn't mean that they convert.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint who's going to actually make you money and who's just going to post something and cost you money.
Where do you guys draw all your inspiration from like all your pieces that you actually create? Because dropping a range every Monday and Thursday is no easy feat. Like, I've worked in fashion design. Like, I spent a fair bit of time at Billabong Girls Women's Design back in the day. And like building a range, like at that business, we would take 3 to 4 months to build a range, and you go through product samples and stuff like that. You guys must have, like, I can't even imagine the workload that goes into creating a range and being able to drop a range every Monday and Thursday. Like, tell us a bit about how you facilitate that, I guess.
Pretty much from the point of inception to the point of sale, it's a 9-month process. So we've got to like trend forecast 9 months in advance and make sure what we're putting out to the creatives now is going to still be relevant in 9 months. So we just try and predict based off what we're seeing. And I don't know how to explain. I'm the creative director, so I deal with the designers a lot in telling them what to make for 9 months' time. And I get asked that question a lot, like, how do you know what's going to sell in 9 months? And I think it's just down to experience. I also have all the knowledge of
the last 11 years.
Yeah, of the last 11 years of what sold and why. And
it's a skill, essentially, that you built on.
It is.
It is hard. Like, there is there is trends, and trends have a tendency to come around or move around in a sort of a flow and a system and be modernized and revamped and all those kind of things. And I guess it's just like, I don't know. I'm similar role for this business, and it's really hard to predict what people want in the future.
Yeah,
but
especially
some way.
It can go in and out so quick that if you're planning too far ahead, it could be stale by that time.
Yeah.
If you're always planning a trend and staying true to your brand and your identity, you won't go wrong. But if you're just jumping on something because you think it'll sell and it's not true to who your business is, then that's when you can get in trouble. But the sample, like as you said, you were talking about samples. Our sample meetings every week are like 15 hours long, broken up through the week. We sit
Wow.
in millions of samples. Sometimes we do 150 samples in one day.
Wow.
It's hectic. And then I've got designers working while we're in samples. It's just it's a lot.
And you guys have got like a team that does the fittings as well. Like you fit each garment before you approve the sample as well.
Multiple times. So
Wow.
many times, we try to perfect as much as possible. And even though it won't fit everyone perfectly, we try so hard to nail that fit.
Do you ever get you got a product you're 7 months, this product's coming in 2 months' time, and you see something that you've got in production, but it's not there yet, and you see somebody else launch something similar? Do you does that kind of stuff ever happen to you guys? Where you're like, fuck, somebody's launched it or beat us to the boat or anything like that?
I think because our designs usually have our own original prints on them, or something like that. If it does happen, we've still got a point of difference, but 100%. People take inspiration from the same place, and things might come up similar, but we've always got that trail of information that we actually have been working on that for the last 7 months, say. And if anyone was to ever say anything, we've got that to show. But yeah, it has happened where we have seen, and also in the reverse, someone might come out a week after us with the same thing, and I'm like, well, come on, they couldn't have made that in a week.
Yeah, you know the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's the why behind what you guys do? What you do? Do you guys have we talk about mission, vision, and values and all those kind of things? Why do you guys love it so much, and why do you do it?
That's a really good question. I think my why is to create an environment here that people can live a better life and enjoy what they do, and then also create something special for our customers that make them feel happy. I like doing what I do because I enjoy it. I know people always ask me, do you want to retire one day?
No.
Do you want to sell the business? I'm like, no way. I would be so bored without doing this. So that's another massive reason I do what I do, is because I absolutely love the creativity behind it. It gives me something to live for and work for. That's mine. What's yours?
Absolutely, that I am just obsessed with coming to work every day that I can. I love it so much. I also like that initial reason we started, besides the offering for international customers, but when we started our own brand, like we spoke about before, the driver was to offer clothing that wasn't available in this price point, that was a lot cheaper than other custom designed, custom printed clothing lines. They aren't existing in this price point, and it's hard. It is really hard keeping it down, and I actually enjoy that challenge, trying to keep our customers happy, our bank accounts happy, our staff happy. It's all a big mix of things that at the moment we're still nailing, and it's just really fun to me.
That's cool. I love it. It's my why is literally I love building brands, and I love design, and I love architecture, and I love putting things out that make people feel good when they drink or touch or put it on or whatever it is. It's such a rewarding experience of giving people, where they for me, when they pick up a cocktail, they pour a cocktail and they put it in a glass and they drink it, and you're it just makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
It makes you happy, and you're usually with friends or you're with family, or for you guys, somebody puts a piece of clothing on, they just feel a certain way, and you've been able to enhance their feeling and make them maybe get out of bed because they get to put that new piece of clothing on.
Yes,
100%.
nailed it.
We love that.
That's so cool. What else? What else do you guys, I guess, in terms of business, what areas do you guys touch on outside of do you have somebody doing your finance, or have you guys had help, or how many heads do you wear inside the business besides creative director?
We wear a lot of heads, especially because we have the stores that we manage as well. So there's the online and the stores. We also have offside businesses that we help out with. But in terms of Sabo accounting and those types of things, my husband and George's brother, that's his brother George, he does that. He's the general manager, so he takes care of those really serious decisions that we either don't exactly
want to. I personally don't like in investing my time and energy into thinking about the money side of the business, because I'm just the type of person who, if I don't know about it, I don't think about it. So I don't know personally. I don't like dealing with that side of it. Because I'm really shit at maths. And,
I feel ya.
so bad. I can't even do simple maths. So I don't think anyone should trust me to deal with anything to do with the finances. But yeah, my brother takes care of all of that for us, and we're so grateful for him, because without him, we would, I don't know.
I don't think we would be anywhere near where we are.
Yeah.
But I'm the bridge, so I am like in between Des and George. So I like have feet in both sides. I'm the connection there.
The connection.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like, how do you manage, I guess, work-life balance? And like, you obviously both love coming to work. You both have young families. It's a family business. How do you guys manage the work-life balance? Like, do you get up on a Saturday and sometimes go, fuck, I feel like going to work? Or do you just, like, you've managed to get it to a really nice place, where you're working 5 days a week at a certain amount of hours, and you know how to get everything done in that time frame?
I think we get everything we need to get done gets done like in our working hours. That's fine. But I think we all, like George, Des, and I, just love thinking, constantly brainstorming and talking about stuff. Like we might be with the kids on the Saturday, and while they're in the pool, we're kind of just like throwing ideas around or discussing something that's happened or needs to happen. Like we do definitely do that, but it's never anything stressful.
Yeah.
We've passed that point. I think we've developed the skill sets now to be able to switch off when it is like personal time.
Yeah.
With anything like more serious or that kind of thing.
My work-life balance is purely dependent on the help I get. I think that's somewhat with Yacht as well, but my husband runs his own fitness company, so I don't have his help as much as I'd like to. Well, he's going to kill me if he hears that. But ideally, I'd like to come to work 5 days a week, but I can't. I work from home 2 days a week, and I come into the office 3 days a week. And I think if I didn't, I've got my mother-in-law and my mum, and I think my work-life balance like heavily relies on that help. And then obviously at nighttime, once the kids are in bed, I'll do heaps of work then as well. So for me, but it's not about needing to switch off, because as I said before, I really enjoy it. Like when I had my babies, that first week I had them, if I wasn't working, I would have like slipped into postnatal depression so easily. But because my mind was able to go elsewhere, I was able to work on something other than just thinking about the stresses of a newborn. Like that saved me 100%.
Yeah.
And I tell, because people are like, oh, when are you going back to work? And I'm like, I didn't stop working when I had a baby. They're like, oh, you poor thing. And I'm like, no, you poor thing.
Because you guys are obviously best friends. Like, the conversation would naturally, if you guys were to go out for lunch on a weekend or spend time outside of work together, the conversation is naturally going to head towards work.
Exactly.
90% of the time.
Yeah, and thankfully we both love that. Like we have no issue when it comes up almost 24/7.
Yeah, it does.
That's amazing, because like I've got two business partners, both very similar in age, both young families, and the conversation always drifts towards work, or like, some, like, we talk a little bit about surfing or like hobbies that we're into, but it literally turns to work most of the time. And I like, sometimes I'm like, fuck, I wish I could stop talking about work, but I actually quite enjoy the conversation. And it's a lot of, I guess, riffing ideas and talking through things together, or things you've thought about that you haven't brought up in meetings because it's not the right format, of ideas. It's kind of nice that you're both on the same page to be able to, one's not going to go, fucking stop talking about work. Like,
I think the only time we like give each other the look of, oh, we should stop talking about it is like either if our friends or family are around and we are in our little bubble and we're like, oh, let's stop that. Or if kids are around and like, you know, they're interrupting every 2 seconds. So
Yeah, my daughter does say, put your phone down, mummy. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, my daughter does that so hard.
I'm like, I'm not just sitting here scrolling, like I'm working, but she doesn't understand that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest things with kids. Like, I mean, it's, you know, my daughter goes to kindy. It's one of those, like, I'd love to be able to stay home. And for the first 2 years of her life, I worked 3 days a week and spent 2 days with her. And my wife was working full time and I looked after her. But now she's our CBO. So, like, she's in here with me every single day alongside me and my two business partners just going at it.
Yeah.
It becomes, you go home and all you talk about is work, or like, it becomes a lot. Yeah. She's like, fuck, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to sit here and just like watch this show. That's crazy. You guys have made like
Yeah, we feel that.
some big changes like recently, and like obviously sustainability is one of those things that is on everyone's radar, and being better at it and being more mindful of the environment and the environment we live and work in. What are the kind of, I guess, changes as a business you guys have gone through and like found benefit to, if you will, of making those changes?
So we didn't really start it recently. We started, I'd say, 2017. We started slowly. It wasn't really trending yet. I guess some of our inspirational businesses that we follow were setting the path, and we were like, oh yes, let's definitely change to, you know, all recyclable packaging, which we did very early on. We switched as much as we can, even to this day. We're close to 90% natural fibers for the majority of our clothing.
Yeah.
Which has been, I think, just it's improved the quality of our clothes first and foremost, as well as the ethical fact of, you know, using natural fibers rather than artificial. So that's been awesome. We switched to solar energy. So our warehouse is 100% solar powered here. That's been in place for a few years. So we have just done that because it's something that we wanted to be better at for our children, the planet, our customers. We have a really big drive from our customers always wanting us to improve with that. So I think one of the things we're trying to work on though is to be more informative and transparent with our customers about what exactly we are doing with our sustainability journey, because I think we've taken a lot of steps to get to this point but haven't exactly let everyone know yet. So this year we're hoping to be louder about what we're doing here for sustainability.
That's amazing, because you see that chart sometimes. You want it quick, fast, or like you want it fast, you want it good quality, or and it's like it's that hard thing of like, or you want it cost effective, and cost effective means it's going to be a cheap product, or if it's going to take a long time, it means it's going to be a good product, but it's going to be expensive, and like those kind of things. So it's a really hard matrix, I guess, for you guys to get right. And kudos to you guys for being able to make those changes in making affordable clothing.
And
with those materials.
That's totally hit the nail on the head. Like, I think everyone does want like those three things. They want it to be ethical and sustainable, as cheap as possible, and the best quality. But unfortunately, those three things do not go hand in hand. And like you just said, it's finding that balance that's keeping everyone and everything happy, so that you can provide the best product possible.
Before you guys, I guess, before this whole COVID shitstorm was blessed upon us, do you guys used to go over to the factories and stuff that you work with and check out the factories and see what's actually happening over there?
Yes, we did. And we were planning a gigantic trip in March 2019, because we had just brought on board multiple new factories that are amazing, and we've had to do everything virtually, but that trip got cancelled due to COVID. So we haven't seen any of our manufacturing families since 2018 now. So it's been a long time, but, you know, thank God for emailing and Zoom calls and all that kind of fun stuff, keeping us all connected.
How's the freight bill though?
Oh my God.
It's like one bit, everyone's like, yeah, online business is like humming. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. But the
it's
the
shipping.
freight bills have increased
It's
dramatically.
times five since 2019 for us for bringing our
Wow.
products in on shipping containers. Don't get me started on air freight. But that's then affected the outgoing shipping to our customers, which is something we've had to absorb, which sucks. But like everywhere, they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Prices
Do you guys have like a do you guys have a customer service team that manages all that kind of stuff? Because in my experience, you work with Australia Post and Fast Track and Star Track and whoever else is. You got, like, I think the customers sometimes think it's a reflection of the business. If something goes wrong with the postal service versus it actually being a postal service problem. Do you guys have a pretty big customer service team or somebody that focuses on keeping those people happy and educating them and making sure they get their stuff on time?
Absolutely, we do. Unfortunately, just like with all customer care, you only hear from the customers who are upset or something's gone wrong. So it's definitely hard for our customer care team to stay motivated, to be happy.
Yeah, no one emails saying thanks so much for my dress. I got it on time. I got it earlier than I thought.
Exactly. So I'm always trying to throw back numbers. I'm like, look, if you look at it, it's like 0.5% of our total orders this week came back with a bit of a negative. So, you're doing a great job. But no, it is really hard trying to, for us even to understand why things have gone from taking 2 days to get delivered to 3 weeks. And unfortunately, we don't always have the answer, but most customers are quite understanding. You do get those really fun customers who don't think COVID is a thing, and
they're
quite upset.
They're above a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, hey, we obviously ship in glass, and we've had customers have had their deliveries delivered in plastic bags. Like, I shit you not, like the Ozpost or someone will drop it and it obviously breaks and it turns into the box is this liquid, and the guy in the street who delivers it, who's dropped it, he'll just shove it into a plastic bag and then put it on their doorstep. And then you get somebody being like, hey, like, what is this puddle of margarita on my doorstep? And then you're going to go through we'll always replace orders. And it's not, it's obviously not our fault, but we're always apologetic and we'll always replace the orders. But it's a hard task, and people don't understand how hard customer service is because you only really hear from the negative.
Exactly.
100%.
What's next for Sabo? Get my words all mixed up. I've had 3 hours of talking today. It's crazy. I just got to have a meeting. When you get to the end of the day, you're like,
We know.
What's next for you guys? What's next for Sabo Skirt this year?
This is probably my most excited I've ever been for our business. So we've got something new coming this year. So we've been working on something for over a year now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be coming to life early this year.
Launching?
Yes.
A big launch.
And we're also very excited to be building a new office warehouse here in Brisbane.
Amazing.
So that's probably one of the most exciting things I'm looking forward to, because obviously I get to experience that. But that's a major step in our business as well, because you'll see all the content coming from such a beautiful new innovative space, and we're creating creative spaces and just pushing the boundaries with our photo shoots internally, which will be really exciting.
I think our customers have a lot to look forward to, not just this year, but just our general growth in our product offering is growing substantially and quite quickly as our design team has grown this year. So that's always exciting for our customers. They always want more, and we're bringing it this year and over the next few years. Like they said, we've expanded and are launching something brand new. So yes, lots of fun new things for our customers to see.
Amazing.
Soon.
I can't wait. I want to come up. I want a tour of the new office. Sounds so good.
Personal tour of the new HQ.
All right, I'll bring the cocktail mix and the tequila.
Yes.
That sounds so good. We're in the middle of building a production facility, literally just behind me. like our office is still, it's actually, how do I explain this? It's an old bikey shed that still has like bulletproof doors and stuff on it. And you like walk in, it's all very, it's all pretty ghetto. Like obviously the podcast room's nice and the office area is pretty nice, but
It's industrial.
yeah, it's industrial. But we've reinvested into this. It's almost like a distillery, brewery type setup. So I can't wait until we get to a point where we can actually spend some money on a nice office. So I'm going to come up and take some inspiration from you guys.
Oh, we're so excited. Our team deserves this. So
we've outgrown where we are right now by probably double. So everyone's like on top of each other.
Sharing desks and stuff.
It's really bad.
No, it's fine.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for giving up your time and having a chat to us. I really appreciate it. And like, obviously, you guys have an amazing story and you've been doing amazing things for such a long period of time. And I think, like, I can guarantee you, most people that listen to our podcast have shopped with you guys before, so they'll love hearing this story.
Thank you so much, and you guys are doing awesome too. We love you guys.
Thank you. Are we sending any products up, Kirsten? Yeah, you got product. Yeah. Enjoy.
We had it at our Christmas party, and I haven't drunk in a while because I'm on a fitness journey. And you got me good.
Hey, it's fresh juice. It's all good. It's fresh ingredients. The margaritas are banging. But we got a new one coming out in like almost 2 weeks. So I'll send you some of that. And it is amazing. It's very summer vibes. It's it's pink. You'll vibe it.
We love
amazing. Cool. Well, guys, you can follow you guys. Your handles are in the Sabo Skirt Instagram. If you want to follow these guys on there, give Sabo Skirt a follow. But thank you guys so much for coming on, and I hope you have an amazing afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Go show the Shake Up some love and stay connected. Don't forget you can watch all of our episodes on YouTube. Also, jump over to our Shake Up Cocktail Gang Facebook page where you can find out who's coming up on the podcast. And if you've got questions for them, I'll ask the bloody questions. You can also use the code SHAKEUP for 10% off on mrconsistent.com.au. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember, shit that's fresh.